my role is to take people and show them what's possible for their lives when they're in the depths of addiction and PTS, depression, anxiety, all that stuff. And it's all, I wouldn't have the knowledge of how to do that if I hadn't been through it myself, but I'm still in it. It's like all your dad ever wanted was a little boy. And when he had one, he left us. He's a cheater. He's an alcoholic. He's a piece of shit, right? And kids internalize that as something's wrong with me. So, and I did, because I was abandoned, abused, neglected, and betrayed. I made a promise to my 13-year-old self after getting pummeled by my mom's boyfriend at the time that I'm never letting anybody punk me like this again. The awareness is 99.9% of it,
yeah.
Right? But what do I do with this?
Yeah.
Right? What do I do with this? And what I didn't want to do was sit and have a conversation with him and have some forgiveness. That's what I didn't want to do, but that's exactly what needed to happen. We get a bad call. We go to the bar in the morning that opened at 6 a.m. Guys would leave at noon. I'd close the bar down. I just would start having nightmares, waking up in the dorm, screaming. Bed sheets are soaked. My clothes are soaked.
The uniform and the badge was just this mask. You
Yes.
portrayed like this hero,
Right.
but behind that was just
A dirtbag. I got diagnosed with PTSD, and the clinician who didn't know shit said I needed some Xanax and a good lawyer. That was her treatment plan moving forward.
ready to roll.
Yeah, let's go.
What is up, everybody? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit podcast. What we do on this podcast is bring guests from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life to share their journey and everything along the way that led them to where they're at today. This podcast is a reminder of what's real, unfiltered stories, raw emotion, and the kind of human connection that can't be faked. We're here to make an impact, and that is what we do. So if that is for you, like, subscribe, all those wonderful things. And if that is not for you, I don't know what your problem is, but it's time to jump on board today. Thank you. But without further ado, I would love to introduce today's guest, all the way from California, Matty Fiorenza.
You got it, bro.
I got it.
You did it.
Are you like Italian or something?
Yeah, Italian and Irish.
Italian and Irish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you have any relatives in Little Italy and San Diego?
No.
Because we went down there.
Did
I was
you?
like, there's a lot of Italians.
Yeah.
They're like serious.
Yeah. That's there's a little Italy everywhere, I think.
I haven't seen that in Nashville. It's just
No, not yet.
Nah,
Dude,
not that I know of. There's some Italian restaurants, but
Right.
They're
No
not-
Little Italy yet. Not yet.
no, not yet. Maybe we'll
Until
get
they all
there. Who
start
knows?
migrating here. Yeah, that's the last name is part of my story too. We can delve into that when we talk a little bit about identity because there's something to that last name.
I would love, yeah, dude. Let's definitely dive into that one. But
okay.
real quick, I do want to kind of give everybody a disclaimer on how we've got connected. So if y'all haven't seen, back in like episode 130 something, check out Rick Cheatham, one of the most powerful, inspirational stories you'll hear. He's my mentor, and he's been a massive piece of my life and my growth and a really good friend. But obviously I train Rick now, and I've had his father on, which is really cool.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Ken came on, and that was a really good time.
He's great.
Yeah, he's solid. I mean, that man, it was badass. We could have talked all day.
Right.
And you were in town, and Rick's like, "Hey, my buddy wants to get on your show, so you're leaving tomorrow, and we're making it happen."
Yeah,
so
bro,
I'm glad to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thanks for
man.
having me. This is cool.
So your life has pretty much been dedicated. I mean, you're a firefighter.
Right.
You've dedicated your life to service and growth, and I know you're a keynote speaker and a number of other things.
Yep. Yeah.
What else you got going on? What does life look like for you today?
Today, so I have a treatment center for first responders and veterans in Newport Beach, California.
Cool.
And that takes up a lot of my time. So I do some business development for that, but I'm in the space with the guys a lot.
Yeah.
We have 12 beds, and I like doing this with the guys.
Just talking to them.
Just, trying to, my role is to take people and show them what's possible for their lives.
Yeah.
And take them in when they're in the depths of addiction and PTS, depression, anxiety, all that stuff. And it's all, I wouldn't have the knowledge of how to do that if I hadn't been through it myself, but I'm still in it.
Yeah.
And that's where I get the trust from them, right? Is that, look, man, I've just been kicking the can down the road a little bit longer, but I'm still in it. I still do my own work. I have to.
Of
stay
course.
in the space with you guys. So I get buy-in really quick from the guys because of that, and because of my past. And it's funny that you said, I've lived a life of service. I don't feel like I had lived a life of service until I retired. Well, a couple of years before I retired.
Interesting.
And the whole idea of service has changed.
I'm excited to dive into that then.
Yeah. So that's where I spend most of my time. But, I also, I speak all over the country. I was in a documentary called PTSD 911.
Nice.
And that takes me there. I go to a lot of the screenings of that and speak at those. And then, I get hired by different conferences. And the truth is, like, I never really ask to be anywhere on anything. I just take the next indicated step, and I just go where the doors open, and they open if you just I'm just in flow and connection with God, and it just, this happens and that happened, like this. Like, I can tell you something that just happened yesterday, that it's crazy how when I'm in that relationship, that I don't have to force anything. If it feels forced, it's not meant to be. And I used to shove round pegs into square holes, dude.
Yes.
Constantly.
Yes.
I got to make this happen. I got, and ruminate about it and obsess over it. And then when I got it, it was just, usually a material solution to a spiritual problem.
It's so interesting you say that, man, because that hits with me so hard. There's so many opportunities maybe I've missed over the past several years, and it's kept things to be really hard, but they had to be that way.
Right.
I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I've understood that.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of growth, but I didn't go after this opportunity, and it's like, the thing is, I'm willing to take on any opportunity.
Right.
But I'm not, if I try to go after it in a certain way, it almost feels unnatural.
Totally.
So going back to what you said, to me, it's been about being in alignment.
That's it.
And when you're in alignment, those opportunities come and you just jump into the unknown.
Yeah. And I'm a Christian, but I learned about being in flow through a Buddhist meditation practice.
Yeah.
It's, when you're in alignment and when you're in flow, because nature will show you, for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
10%.
If you pay attention and you're present.
And nature's God.
That's it.
God, dude. I got
goosebumps already, bro.
Dude.
That's what I call God tickling you. That's when you know there's truth. The truth has a certain ring to it.
Yes, it does. Yep. And you see that truth across all different things.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I love about it. If you're willing to see it.
Yeah. No, you got to be in the present moment. It can't be closed off. For me, I've just recently broke through a major resentment that I had. Resentment is not good. Anger, resentment. Anger is a flash emotion, and it's in the human experience to save your life.
Yeah.
Other than that, anger that perseverates is really just drama.
Yeah. Well, why am I angry? This person screwed me over. They're not threatening my life.
Right. And it's not happening now.
Yeah.
So I just, I had a really tough conversation with a buddy. We could talk a little bit about that, and not something I've publicly spoke about. Seems like the right time now that we're kind of on the other side of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, once we squashed it, I just, more doors open, and I'm just back in flow.
Well, I'm going to take note of that, because I do want to approach this.
Yeah, bro.
As we get into
it might be 8 o'clock by the time.
Yeah. Just cancel everything else.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and I'm also a father. I have 3 adult sons.
Nice.
From my first marriage. Logan, he's 23. Nate's 21, and Charlie is 18.
How old are you?
I'm going to be 50 in December.
Dang.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think it.
Thank you.
You're aging well.
Thank you, bro. It was all that mess.
Jesus.
Sorry, bro.
Went into it hard. I'd assume there's a backstory behind that.
Brother.
So.
Yeah. Sorry, dude.
No, you're good.
I like to lighten up things every once in a while. But
that's funny.
That's a joke, by the way, everybody. That's a joke.
I appreciate the honesty.
It's not recommended. But So, and now Also part of the story is we've been married 7 years, together 14. I have a daughter who's a miracle. She's 2.5. Her name's Jordan.
My daughter's 2.5.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
How does that get you?
Oh, dude.
I got to hear this.
Yeah,
what's it like having a little girl?
It's beautiful and scary all at the same time.
Yes.
Like, I am so in love.
Dude, it's
this
different.
Little girl.
Yeah.
Bro, the boys, it is different. It is different, man, because Rick and I were just talking about this morning. You know, I didn't really worry about them.
Yeah.
You know, it's a boys club when we're together, which is, you know what I mean? It's like being with the guys. And they're so resilient because they went through the storm, right?
Yeah.
And now I have this little girl, and I'm refining some things, you know. I'm actually just talked to Rick about doing some coaching with my wife and I, with Rick and Kelly.
Hell yeah.
It needs to be done because I want to be better.
You want to be better.
I want to be because the example that I'm setting with the relationship with my wife, right, is what my daughter is going to see.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah, and even if you don't necessarily need it, you do.
Oh, I need it.
You could use it. Yeah. Well, there you go. And at least you can admit that.
Yeah, no, gosh, man, that's...
And you have 3 grown-ass sons.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to readjust your whole mindset now to raise this little girl.
Right. With a different wife, you know, and you know, my ex-wife and I have a great relationship today.
That's good.
Which is another story. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and she had I'm so proud of her.
Yeah.
Like she had her struggles, and overcame a lot of stuff. And I don't want to tell her story, but she's a nurse practitioner she works in San Diego. She lives in South Orange County, but she has been through the ringer, man. And
really?
Yeah, dude. And like, we co-parent the kids really well. And, you know, one of the kids is messing up. We have family meetings. She's remarried. Her husband's awesome.
That's good. It's not combative on like yeah.
But bro, at the beginning, it was the total opposite.
Just fire.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
Well, dude, and we need to get into it. I do got to say though, you know, any kind of like walls you have up, like, you know, you raise your boys or just like all that tough stuff. Something about when your little girl will just like make everything crumble. It'll make you so soft. And like, does that make sense?
It already is. Like, I cannot, if she, like with the boys, if they were like bugging me about something, I'd just be like, go play. Come on, let's just go outside. Go get dirty. With her, she's like, Daddy, please, can we, you know, let's do this. Or, you know, I'm just like,
screw everything else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your sons are like, damn it, dude.
I know.
They hear this. Well,
I know.
My wife's like, why can't you work? Like, she's asked me before, like, why is it so hard for you to work from home? And I'm like, because if she's there, like, I'm not going to do anything.
I was just going to say that, dude. Some days I have a few more things or a few more phone calls I got to make once I get home. Bro, it's all out the window once I get home.
I'll go to the coffee shop up the road for a few hours just to like
Seriously.
dial in so I can get back. But
right.
Yeah.
I there's no work from home. So
yeah, for sure.
And that was one of my biggest regrets. Cause I did spend a lot of time with Logan, my oldest son, cause at, you know, 6 months old, my wife handed me Logan and said, I've put everything on hold while you pursued the fire career and you're off probation now. So here you go. I'm going to nursing school. Breast milk's in the fridge. Figure it out.
Dang.
But I wasn't present, man.
Dang.
I wasn't present, and I was always somewhere else.
Yeah.
And they notice. They know.
Yeah.
They know, you know, so.
I think without getting too much into it, it's difficult for men. In a way, I think genetically, right? We're
sure.
Like, you know, I look back at like ancient times.
Yeah,
like we went and conquered and went to wars and we were gone for years, you know, the family was at home.
Right.
You know, and we're not doing that now, but in a way our mind is still in that conquering aspect, right? Sure. Like we got to go provide and take care of our families. Like it's just our modern version of that. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. But the Industrial Revolution messed us up, dude.
Mm.
We don't initiate our sons.
No.
Yeah. I mean, and you might disagree with this, but you've seen the movie 300. You say, why do those guys win? because they, the terrain or whatever, or it's because they initiated their sons.
Oh no, I'm big on that. Like that's what my brother's in the Hurry. Like we have like initiation rites.
Yeah.
Just to be in it. And then like once we hit a certain point in our life, there's a new initiation.
Oh yeah.
Breaking from like the Choreos, which is like those new warriors pretty much. I mean, yeah, this is stuff we try to apply in our lives.
Right. Yeah. Because back in the day, you'd snatch your son up from mommy's tit, right, at 12, 13 years old, and you bring him out to the tribe.
Yeah.
And you build houses for your neighbors and you plant whatever, it's not about you anymore, dude.
Yeah.
It's about the tribe.
Yep.
And, boot camp and fire academies are all pseudo initiations. They're not, you know what I mean? I mean, the one the Spartans did was extreme. Throw them out in the wilderness by themselves.
Hey, let's start doing that. Let's bring it back.
Dude.
I'm gonna host a camp, and there's got to be a lot of paperwork signed so I don't get any liability.
Dude,
but that's what we're gonna do with the sons.
It's not a bad idea because men can't initiate their sons. Other men have to.
Yeah. Yep. Oh man, I got a book on that. Like I think you'd like. It's called Odin the One-Eyed God, but it talks about like ancient, warrior cults or warrior tribes that like all their initiation rites and different things like that. I'll recommend it to you. But anyways, let's take it back to early Matty.
Yeah, early Matty.
Yeah. So like, where do you hail from? Let's go back to the early stages of your life and work our way through.
Okay. So my dad was a Marine.
Okay.
Vietnam vet.
Hard dude.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Orange County Sheriff's Deputy, Medal of Valor. And him and my mom were high school sweethearts. Like I said, Italian, Irish, Catholic family.
Oh, okay.
He was the Irish side. My mom was the Italian side. And he left when I was 3 months old. And a lot of my childhood memories.
Where was this at?
This was in Southern California.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in.
So you've been there your whole life?
Pretty much, yeah. I've tried to move away a couple times. I always go back. Yeah. So a lot of before I was verbal, right, was listening to my mom, my grandma, and just the whole divorce and everything it's just embedded in my cells. Trauma stored in our bodies, and it's like all your dad ever wanted was a little boy, and when he had one, he left us. He's a cheater. He's an alcoholic. He's a piece of shit, right? And kids internalize that as something's wrong with me.
Oh yeah,
So, and I did, and he assaulted my mom when I 6th birthday. Bringing me a birthday gift with his third wife, and I didn't see him again after that until I was in my late teens when I went searching for him. And we grew up. After that, it was just my mom was, she was from relationship to relationship. I grew up in some pretty rough parts of Southern California. Blue-eyed, blonde-haired kid in some rough neighborhoods. So it was a fight to get my bike home. Some days, I was bullied a lot. I had to fight. I was responsible for my half brother Dominic, who I was very close with, and there's a lot of fighting. I was sexually abused by a 15-year-old boy. I was verbally abused. I was emotionally abused. I was made responsible for my mom's feelings and for my little brother, and physically abused. So I got all the abuse. We moved a lot when I was a kid, and at 13 years old, I was tired of breaking up fights between my mom and her now husband, and I moved in with my sister, who was 8 years older than me.
Okay.
And I was an athlete. That's how you
coped.
That's how I coped. Yeah. We called the athlete warrior, right? If I put on this uniform and I go perform on the football field and smash people, like I'm celebrated for it.
Yeah.
And I'm with a team, and I don't have to talk about what's going on inside here.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is it's a good outlet.
Totally. It's a healthy one.
Yeah. It just doesn't fix things.
Right.
So,
The problem is that I went to an all boys Catholic high school. I went to Catholic school. which was kind of the saving grace, because every time I moved, I didn't have to go to a new school.
Yeah.
I did pretty much go to the same school and had the same friends. But I lost my position on the football team to a kid whose parents bought the school a bus.
Oh, of course.
And after that, it was game on, dude. I was like, F the school, F football, all that. So I found the kids who smoke weed, listened to punk rock music, skateboarded, and that was my new tribe.
Yeah.
And it was game on. And I was living with my sister.
Full on rebellion.
Oh yeah, big time. And you know, I had a relationship with God. Like, the Catholics introduced me to God. But I was like, I just turned my back on him. I never hated him, but I went to the other side, man, big time.
So full on rebellion, turned your back.
Yep. Turned my back on everything. And I found these guys, and I found this new freedom. And, you know, the first time I smoked weed, I was 11 years old with a buddy from Catholic school who's still a friend of mine today.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, we stole some beers one time because we played Pop Warner football together. So we stole a couple beers from the refrigerator, and we were playing another team in Vegas, and we put them in our bags. It's so funny, dude. Thinking back, we put a couple beers, and they were bottles, and we put them in our bag, and then we all packed in this truck, and we were in the back, and I felt so guilty for having these beers, you know, that I thought I smelled beer. Like, halfway through the trip, driving from California to Vegas, and I'm like, Jeremy, I think the bottle's broke, dude. Like, we're gonna get so busted. And I thought I smelled beer. That's how guilty I was. Yeah. Turns out we didn't. I drank half of one. He drank most of them and was puking all morning before our game.
So funny.
Yeah. So he was my little, you know. And the thing about alcohol and drugs is I was never comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
And you know, a very common story among alcoholics is that we weren't, you know, and that when we put that substance in our body, we finally felt like normal, whatever that normal is.
Would you say that, like, just getting into skateboarding, like, that lifestyle was definitely more of a rebellious lifestyle?
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, because I skateboarded too.
Yeah.
Huge fan of, like, Mike Vallely and stuff like that. Like, I loved it, man. But it was just like, man, screw everything, dude.
Oh, dude. And Southern California was a mecca.
Yeah, it was.
So in the 80s, it was all making a comeback from the 70s. And there was one skate park. You know, I grew up inland, but, you know, we would get dropped off in Huntington Beach because it's all flat, and there were some rails that you can, you know what I mean? There was like, because you watch those old VHS tapes of like the Bones Brigade and stuff, and you would see all these different, so Baldy Pipe, we'd skate Baldy Pipe all the time. Like, these little skate spots, you'd kind of just, it was a little underbelly of, you know.
Super cool though.
Yeah, we were getting in trouble because we were skateboarding in places we were, you know, destroying property or whatever. And so I do have so many times I got my skateboard stolen or taken away from the, like, mall police, like the mall cops.
Yeah.
And my mom had to go pick it up or whatever. Yeah. But it was great, man. I remember my buddy Jeremy, I listened to, like, I'm a big music fan, and I would listen to, like, Motley Crue, like that 80s hair band music. And Jeremy brought a cassette tape over of the Sex Pistols. And I was like,
this is it.
Bro, where has this been my whole life, dude?
Yeah.
And after I left the Catholic high school, I went to public school. Like, it was weird not having to wear, like, a uniform. And I found the kids there, and I still hung out with my Damien buddies who all left. And we just did, like I said, it was game on. I was living with my sister. We were it was a party.
And you had that punk aesthetic, I'm sure.
Oh, dude, I was in a punk rock band eventually.
Yeah. I have a buddy that used to travel. I mean, he's a big fitness coach now, online, crushing it. He's living in Bangkok right now. Mm-hmm. But he was in a punk band. Mm-hmm. I mean, he went overseas, was always in fights, just, like, eating random junk and, like, just drugs, alcohol. Oh, yeah. Like, it's an intense life. Punk today isn't what it used to be.
No, bro, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Punk was dangerous. You went to a show, you're going to get in a fight. Someone was going to get stabbed. Like, dude, I was in a couple riots downtown LA.
Yeah.
Like, it was
what punk represents.
Yeah. And the neighborhood I grew up in, like, one city over was, Bill, who owned Dr. Strange Records.
Yeah.
And Face to Face, Voodoo Glow Skulls, Guttermouth were all in his label back in the day. And I'd go to, like, I'd work at this pizza place and I'd save, you know, I'd get my paycheck. And the first, like, you know, after I bought my own deodorant and, you know, because I was taking care of myself for the most part, my sister she just gave me a roof, you know, fed me a little bit. But I'd go to his house because it was all mail order back then, you know, you'd get like, buy a stinking Misfit shirt from him because like there was no real place there was no Amazon, you know what I mean, like, so, and he had like 7 inches, and so I had like I'd spend so much money on like records and stuff because a lot of those underground bands, they weren't mainstream, so you didn't hear them on the radio or anything like that.
No.
You know, like I had a face-to-face like pre-recording thing on a cassette that we all like copied off each other. It sounded like crap, but the only time you could see them before they put anything out was at shows. Yeah,
for sure.
You know, and we got to know those guys, and so we started our own little punk rock band. And
sweet.
And we knew that one of the owners of it was called Spanky's in Riverside. Then he moved to the Showcase Theater in Corona, California, and bro, I lived for that, and it actually kept me out of a lot of trouble. I mean, I was doing drugs and I was drinking, but I didn't, you know, and I started hanging out with some bad guys. Like the first tattoo I got was at a tattoo shop in Rialto that was full of Hell's Angels.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I looked up to those guys. These were my new heroes.
Yeah, for sure.
Because my dad was gone. My stepdad was a good guy. He was, but my mom, once we left him, you know, it was like I said, I just...
Like that lifestyle you were living, they were kind of like the peak.
Yeah, those guys were like... And I remember I would hang out. I had no clue. You know what I mean? I didn't understand that. I just like, those guys are all tatted up. They're riding motorcycles. Like these guys are...
Yeah.
So I would hang around...
be like them.
Yeah. So I'd hang around the tattoo shop, and I think I was 15 at the time. And I would bug the guys. I'm like, I want a tattoo. I want a tattoo. They're like, we're not going to tattoo you, dude. You're not 18. You know what I mean? And I was like such a stupid kid. And then finally one time a guy grabbed me. He's like, all right, you want a tattoo? And that was back in the day. He's like, see that shotgun in the corner? He's like, if you come back here with your mom, I'm going to kill her and you. If she's pissed for me doing this.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, let's do it. And
you got it anyways.
Right. Oh, yeah. So stupid. And he drilled me so hard, bro. I think he's trying to teach me a lesson.
Yeah.
In his own way. That tattoo actually still gets kind of raised up in the sun.
Really?
Yeah, he made it hurt.
Damn.
Yeah. But I was, you know.
Hell of a lesson.
Underage with a tattoo. Dude, I thought I was the shit. You know,
yeah, you're like, look, it's all raised up. Like, check this out. Yeah. This is some badass work.
Right. It's actually, you know, it's funny. It says it was my buddies and I came up with this. It was our little gang. It was called, instead of anarchy, it was enarchy, and it was an E with 4 prongs with a circle around it, and we would tag it all over Valdi pipe and all that stuff. It's little kid, you know what I mean? Just trying to connect, man. Just trying to be a part, because we're tribal.
Finding your identity, you know,
it.
Your community and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You look at a lot of people that are lost today, you know, especially like you look at riots and stuff like that. Not to dive all into that, but they're just trying to find a place.
That's it, man. People just want to connect and feel part of something.
Yeah.
You know, and that's even those early years. I made some connections. We helped each other. Like, we were all going through something, you know, and we didn't talk about it much, but we were together, you know, and some guys got in trouble. A lot of those guys are dead today. But some of them are really successful. You know, my buddy Kyle and his wife own a farm to table restaurant and bed and breakfast in Napa. They're in Vogue magazine, Single Thread Farms.
Like that set them on a path.
Oh yeah.
Some people went this way. And then some people went this way. Yeah.
And I remember sitting at a doctor's office looking through Vogue magazine. I'm like, oh, there's Kyle and Katina.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, Tony Hawk comes and stays there. They have all these.
Sick.
And it's, you know, it's like a 5-star place in Napa.
Really cool.
Yeah. And he's a chef. He studied in Japan. And so some guys really did well. And some, you know, my buddy Chris died before he was 50, you know, I think he was not even 40 years old yet and had a heart attack at work from alcoholism. You know? So, but yeah, we spent a lot of time together, and we got each other through some hard times, you know, but
would you say that's where you learned to be strong?
oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. And to really, I really love my friends. It was, you know, enarchy. Oh, getting back to the tattoo, I'll just finish that thought.
Okay.
So, I had over the little E, it says brotherhood, because it was that tattoo. I didn't get hired with the Newport Beach Fire Department because of that tattoo.
Really?
I'm a white guy with a tattoo
that
that says
something else.
with a tattoo that says brotherhood.
Guys, that's really picky. Like,
well, yeah. Well, Newport is it's a very wealthy area of Southern California.
Yeah.
And they have a swim because it's a beach town. So they have a swim where they line up all the applicants on the pier in your bathing suit, and it's not to see if you can swim. It's to look at your tattoos.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So
yeah, they got a high brand. Oh shoot, I would not get hired.
Well, yeah, there was me and another guy who got tattooed that went below the sleeves once I got hired, and it was a big deal, man.
Yeah,
I wore long sleeve uniform shirts my whole career.
Yeah, I wore long sleeve sand shirts when I was in the Air Force.
Yeah. And then I got my knuckles. And then I got my knuckles tattooed. Yeah. Even my knuckles said "Hell yes." They used to say "Hell yes." I was a big Alkaline Trio fan. Okay. Which is like satanic love songs. So when I got into that world, like I said, I turned my back on God, but I did, like, I was really aligning myself spiritually with dark stuff.
Yeah.
Through the music scene.
But how do you think that whole season shaped your worldview up until, obviously the change?
I thought everything, which is funny now thinking about it. That's a great question, because everything's an illusion. It's all BS.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to do with that is be selfish, self-centered, self-seeking, and just live for today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? FTW.
Well, yeah.
That's
the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is, I believe now that everything's an illusion.
Yeah.
But my role is to be of service to the next person.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean, help show people what's possible for their lives, be vulnerable, connect, and do it without expecting anything in return.
I feel that big time, man. What values or like maybe survival instincts from that time period did you carry into adulthood?
Oh, bro, I'm an empath, so I'm real intuitive. As a Christian, we call it discernment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I called it my spidey sense.
I use the word discernment a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never got in trouble. I never hurt anybody. Like, we got in fights and stuff like that. So when I say hurt, like, I never hurt someone that was innocent.
Yeah. You always
the guy that got a punch in his face.
At you.
Yeah. That said, you know what? Things are going to go sideways right now. Get out of here.
Dude, I had that same kind of like, man, I was always involved with some sketchier stuff.
Yeah.
But I always had that voice that was like, okay, maybe this would be too far.
Yeah.
Like, draw the line right here. You know?
Yeah. And I didn't listen. I listened to it.
Yeah.
I listened to it. So when my buddies were getting, busted, I just, I never got in trouble.
You were in the middle of that.
I wasn't in the middle of it, man.
Yeah.
And because I listened to that. So I learned that. Street smarts for sure.
Yeah.
And that came from the childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can read a room real quick. Like, is someone going to hurt me? Do I need, and that turned into hypervigilance. With the PTS, it got overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
But it served me on the job as well. Yeah. But yeah, it was just, I could read the room. I just kind of learned to listen to that voice, which I call God now.
Yeah, for sure. If you could describe maybe your childhood in one word, what would you say?
Bittersweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it wasn't all bad,
Yeah.
But there are definitely some deep wounds from all that because I was abandoned, abused, neglected, and betrayed.
Yeah.
And I made a promise to my 13-year-old self after getting pummeled by my mom's boyfriend at the time that I'm never letting anybody punk me like this again, ever. Yeah. So I got to remember when I feel like I'm being disrespected or like someone's tugging at one of those wounds, or I feel, because loyalty is one of my top values.
Same.
It takes a lot to be loyal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I, in some ways, expect that from the people I get really close with. You know what I mean? And so when someone betrays me, they hit that 13-year-old little Matty, and he's like, I'm going to fuck this guy up.
Man, that was a big, I went into my Evox session, my last one, and the focus was betrayal and anger, right?
Yep.
And it brought me back to that place. And because I've been betrayed by some people I thought I was close with.
Right.
And dude, it will eat at me. I mean, I remember when I was talking to her, I'd been carrying feelings, these anger from this betrayal feeling for weeks. I mean, to the point, it's like, it becomes so unproductive. Like I could be getting shit done, but I'm thinking about like, screw this person, man. It like really eats at your mind. It's overwhelming as shit.
Oh yeah.
Cause like, I don't want to feel that way.
Right.
I'm aware of it. I'm like, how do I get rid of this? But it just keeps building up.
Yeah. And we can later on in the story, we can go back to that because I was betrayed by some business partners.
Yeah. Damn.
And it took me 5 years to be able to sit across, we sat out at a bench in a park and have a conversation, you know what I mean? And it's funny how in a second it was gone. We built a business together and I couldn't, it was eating me up, bro. And it blocks you. Like you said, you're trying to get something done and that's all you're thinking about. And you're having a physiological response in your body to it, until I learned the awareness is 99.9% of it.
Yeah.
Right? But what do I do with this?
Yeah.
Right. What do I do with this? And what I didn't want to do was sit and have a conversation with him and have some forgiveness. That's what I didn't want to do, but that's exactly what needed to happen.
Yeah. I could probably use that.
You know what I mean?
In some situations for sure.
Yeah. Because it blocks creativity. It blocks, and you and I are creative guys in different ways. You know what I mean? Like this is creativity.
Oh yeah.
And that gets blocked. The sunlight of the spirit the light gets blocked when you're feeding the shadow. Yeah,
like those things, those situations could be like these trees that are just keeping that from coming in, just kind of overgrowing.
Bro. It totally does.
I mean, I feel that so much. And I want to dive.
Yeah.
We'll hit that on that again when we go into that part of the story.
Right. So yeah, childhood was, I had to fend for myself a lot. I had to look after my little brother a lot. But it wasn't all bad. My grandparents were amazing. I love them so deeply.
Yeah.
And it wasn't till later in life where I actually properly grieved and mourned the loss of them. My dad and I tried to have a relationship. It didn't go well.
Yeah. And
he died at 53, cleaning his golf shoes in the backyard. He was still on the job. He had PTS. And the last thing we said to each other was, dang. Yeah. So, but I've had some closure with that as well.
How old were you at that point?
She's 20. I wasn't even on the job yet. So I was like 22 maybe.
So this is
maybe
just
even younger.
Right before you started going
like
into the fire service?
Yeah. So it was right about the time I decided to, I went to the band broke up.
Okay.
Yoko broke up the band.
How old were you this time? Like 15, 16?
No, I was like 18.
Okay.
Because it was my first year in college. And because of a girl, just blew up the band. And we were like, we were opening for like Strung Out, Face to Face, Gutter Mouth. We had some big shows.
Y'all weren't too bad.
Yeah. We were pretty good. And we just got a write up. Someone wrote about us in in a rag that was a free rag,
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, it's finally gonna happen, And that's what I wanted to do, dude. I wanted to be a punk rocker and travel and do all that stuff, and that happened. I'm going to a 4-year school that I magically got into, and
yeah, I'd imagine that you probably would have just like thrown school on the back burner at this point.
Actually, there were girls there, bro.
So
The public school.
yeah,
I went to an all boys Catholic high school. You know what I mean? I went to school to and I was an okay student.
Yeah.
I got by. I graduated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got to college.
Right.
Yeah.
Got into college and then about halfway through the summer before my second year in college, my girlfriend I wanted to get serious about her. Her mom was a purchasing agent for the Forest Service, and she was always talking about base camp and fire camp. And I was an explorer for the sheriff's department for a little while. Cause as much as I hated my dad, I still wanted to be like him. It's a family business, dude. I come from a long line of, veterans and first responders. That's, Irish from New York.
So it's in your blood.
It's in the blood. Yeah. So, I went to the recruiter, almost joined the Marines, and because on my dad's side there was 4 kids. My grandparents outlived all 4 of their kids. My uncle Ricky followed my dad to Vietnam and was killed. He was a Marine, and then my auntie Nora shot herself, and my aunt Liz had a brain tumor. She was a drug addict, and then my dad died at 53.
I talk about traumatic for your grandparents to lose all their kids.
Right.
Before,
Zero relationship with these grandparents.
Oh.
Yeah. And doing evocs and stuff like that, have realized that my grandmother was a narcissist. And I can see how having that trait, how it played out with their kids.
Yeah.
Because she wanted nothing to do with us, my sister and I, which I thought, like, now having kids and stuff, like, that just blows my mind.
Oh yeah.
Like, my dad never told me he loved me, but dude, I tell my boys, I mean, from inception, dude, when they were in their mom's belly, like, there's just not a day that goes by that I don't tell my kids I love them.
Oh my God.
I mean? It's like I can't imagine not doing that. You know what I mean? So a lot of
I feel you. My daughter's so little, and I'm like possessed by her presence.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Me
It just
too.
engulfs me. I can't tell you this emotion. You really can't even put a word on.
Right. How do you not tell them you love them? Like, I tell her every day, I just love you so much.
Yeah.
And now she's talking, so she's like, I love you too, Dad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
I feel you.
What do you want?
What do you need? Anything I got.
You want the chocolate cereal that your mom doesn't let you eat?
Yeah. Here you go. Let's just pour it up.
Yeah. So,
going through the college, you're
I'm
in college, band broke up.
Band breaks up. I'm like, I never thought about the fire service, but before that, we moved to Wisconsin. For 8 months, we lasted in the state of Wisconsin. My great uncle had a hydraulic filter factory, and he was always looking for family members to, and he was like the patriarch of the family. When he came, he was like, Santa Claus, and he was like the nicest, sweetest guy. Dude, when I got to Wisconsin, dude, he's full mafioso. Yeah, it was
all a front.
Totally.
This is not what I expected. I thought this was gonna be a hookup,
bad, bro. And it was like a totally different guy. So, and I went to go work for him, hoping to maybe, I don't know, change up my life. I wanted to get away from the scene.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Switch it
up. I wanted to. I loved this girl. I wanted to marry her. So it was time to like figure it out.
Yeah,
you know,
grow up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I turned 20 in Wisconsin. I couldn't do it. It was too cold. Like, I'm a Packer fan. That's about all that came out of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So we came home, and I was like, I got a job at an engineering company, and I was like, okay, the fire service I'm going to do that. So I would work all day for this engineering company. I started off as a shipping and receiving guy. Like, I worked there, I think, 4 years, almost 4 years. And I worked I mean, there's a growing company, and I worked all my way up all the way to like a production manager because I was growing with the company, and it was a family business. Started blowing up, started getting some government contracts. We built a drill machine for the fuselage of the F-18, and like we were getting like government contracts, like and that's in that world. Once you get one of those,
good to go.
You're good, bro. And I remember taking one class. I would work all day. I would go to the gym and work out, and then I would go to my one class, because I had bills. I had, no one was taking care of us, and my wife was working 2 jobs at the time, and it took me about 5 years. So from the time I got off, decided to be a firefighter, till the time I took all the classes and went through the fire academy and got hired and got off probation, was about, I say this when I speak, it was about 6-7 years. And I tell people, like, you know what they call people that go to school for 7 years? Doctors.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good point.
Yeah. But
that's a long time. Usually people will speed through that process a little quicker, but you had a lot of other things going on.
Yeah, I was responsible for myself and her and bills and even back then, dude, I was standing in line with thousands and thousands of people for 2-10 jobs.
Yeah.
It's not like it is now. A lot of these kids don't want to do that kind of work.
No.
They want to be influencers and sit behind a computer, dude. Like, a lot of people don't want to get their hands dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had a couple of rookies where I was like, we're standing at the door and they don't want to go in. And I'm like, bro, get in there. This is what we do. Yeah. It's not about looking good in the uniform and, telling the chicks at the bar that you're a firefighter. Like, get your ass in there. It's time to go to work.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
they don't even want to be willing to, like, do those other things.
Right.
Or like work with their hands and get a little jacked up.
Right. I would tell any kid, like, the fire service is a little bit easier to get into nowadays. Go learn a trade, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Go you want to do well, learn a trade, because and especially in California, like all that, like they took all that stuff out of schools. Like I had wood shop and I had all those classes, and they don't offer those anymore.
Yeah. Now's the time to do it too.
For sure.
With all these shifts coming. So,
yeah. So, so I went to the basic fire academy. I was one of the older guys in the academy because a lot of guys were just out of high school and, they're still living with their parents. And,
yeah. So you're in your mid-20s?
Yeah. And I was 21, I think, 21. And I took 50 tests, bro. All up and down the state, Arizona, Washington, Oregon, like anyone that was Nevada, anyone that was hiring, back then, you put your app in and you go, and whoever pick you up, that's, and that's it. I got really lucky, I was working for an ambulance company as an EMT because I wanted to be a medic.
Yeah.
That was part of it. I liked that part of it. People usually go 2 ways. They go wildland to try and get in, or they do the medical side.
Okay.
And I wasn't that, the wildland stuff's hard work.
Yeah, for sure. It's what Rick's son's doing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's no joke.
No, it's hard work. It beats you up. And in California, that's how guys get killed.
Yeah.
On brush fires.
Yeah.
It's on this side of the country, more like structures because of the old structures and stuff like that. But, so I did the medical route, and after 8 months, I got picked up by the city of Anaheim.
Hell yeah.
And it was awesome. It was so awesome, dude. That was one of the premier fire departments in Southern California. And just, they're very aggressive, and they had a very difficult probation. Like, they fired people.
It's a big city too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it has the west end of town, which is like the rough part of town. I like to say that's the part of town Disney does not put in the brochures. So they have that. And then they have the resort area, which is the Disneyland area with all the hotels, which is like the Twilight Zone. And then they have like the entertainment district, or like what they call the Platinum Triangle, which is like low rise and the Honda Center where the Ducks play, and Angel Stadium. So you have baseball, hockey, concerts. And then there's what we call Anaheim Hills, which is the wealthy part of town. That's all wildland interface. So you have you had everything in this long stretch of cities. Anaheim almost looks like Tennessee. It's long.
Oh, okay.
And the Santa Ana River runs through it. So there's like swift water. You know, Rick was on the USAR team, so the Urban Search and Rescue team. So we had such a diverse city that there was a lot of, you know, opportunity. And like I said, the Anaheim guys in the fire academy taught ladders, which was the hardest cadre.
Yeah.
And it's so dumb, but I remember those guys walking in on the first day of the academy, and like everybody's worried about ladders.
Yeah.
If you can't throw the ladders, you know, because it's physical and it there's a certain way you do it, and it was by far the hardest thing.
Does that mean like to get up buildings?
Yep.
Like, okay, you see people compete in that, and it's like it's high speed.
Yeah, and there's commands that you have to know. You have hand placement has to be perfect. Like and the Anaheim guys taught. So the first day they came in, and you just like your head's down, and I just remember seeing their belt buckle.
Yeah,
it said Anaheim FD on it, and I was like, so when I went to services to get all my gear when I got hired, I remember like sleeping with that belt buckle, dude.
Yeah.
Like
I got this.
Yeah, I got this, man. I can't believe I got hired in Anaheim.
That was a big deal.
Big deal. And it was so hard. Like there was, I think 2,000 applicants.
You know, knowing where you came from, how did it impact you?
I think it was absolutely meant to be, because there's a bunch of hard charging, tough guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we took nozzles from other departments. Like if you set that nozzle down before you went into the fire, and there was with a adjacent agency, dude, you don't like you see Anaheim guys set the nozzle down and put your mask on. It's in between your legs. Like you got a clamp on it. Yeah. No one's taking your hose line. Like they'd set it right next to them, bro. You just put your shit on and take the nozzle, dude, and go. Damn. Bye. And we were aggressive. Yeah. You know, we were an aggressive fire department, and we knew our shit. Like I said, if you didn't know your shit, you got fired. If
I wasn't doing what I'm doing, and I have all the purpose in the world, and all these avenues I'm heading in, going firefighting would be 110% the direction. It's awesome. Outside of what I'm doing. It's awesome. Like you're serving other people. Like, I mean, I have to do that. Right. You know, but yeah, I've always had like a huge respect for firefighting. Yeah. Like, it seems like the only other avenue that I would take my life. Dude, it was, and like I said, our mentors were guys like Rick. Yeah. Rick was badass, dude. That guy was awesome. And the cool thing about Rick is that he was willing to spend the time with you. Yeah. To show you how to do stuff. That's cool. You know, and he was fun to be around, you know, and there were a lot of guys like that. For sure. You know, so and I got put on the west side of town, and that's where I wanted to be. You know, I wanted to be where it was busy and where stuff happened. And the guys got their teeth kicked in, and my senior hose when I got on my first rotation was a guy named Ray Larkins, and that guy was awesome, dude. Like I kind of hated him at the time because he was tough. You know what I mean? It was a different world. Like I had Vietnam vets throwing coffee pots at me back in the day, bro. You know what I mean? It was like, it wasn't like it is now. And I can imagine it's changed a bit. Yeah. But Ray was like, you have to give classes on all the tools. And I would give a class. Ray's like, go grab the chainsaw. Give me a class on the chainsaw. Go grab the chainsaw. Give him a class, which I thought was amazing. Bro, that sucked. Go take it apart, put it back together, and come back and do it again. It was never good enough. Oh. And then I would do it like for other guys. They'd be like, good job, Matty. That was perfect. Stellar. But looking back now, I knew what he was trying to do. And he was super aggressive. Yeah. Very aggressive. He's like, Matty, like we're going to kick ass. And, I love the guy to death to this day. Like he taught me how to be an aggressive guy. You know what I mean? He kept you at an almost unattainable standard on purpose. Yep. And if you're willing to see that, that's such a positive thing. Totally. And I knew what he was doing at the time, and I just thought, I'm just gonna go get better. He's trying to make me better. Yeah. You know. So the first 10 years of my career were pretty awesome.
pretty awesome. I was on the west end of town. I think about 5 years on the job. They sent me to medic school. But you know, I was the life of the party. You know, the home stuff wasn't that great.
Yeah.
You know, my wife, like I said, my wife handed me Logan. It was, home was tough because it was all about Matty. You know, I was working a lot. I was gone a lot. You know, I was on my days off, start hanging out with the guys, you know, and that really, my family suffered. But about 10 years on the job, I started getting the symptoms of what we know now is, you know, post-traumatic stress. I was
going to ask, like, when did it start affecting you internally?
Yeah,
so
it was about 10 years on the job. And then I found myself, you know, we get a bad call. We go to the bar in the morning that opened at 6 a.m. Guys would leave at noon. I'd close the bar down, you know, and then I would start having nightmares, waking up in the dorm, screaming, you know, have to change bed sheets are soaked, my clothes are soaked. I have to go change my clothes. And then, because of, you know, I was a cheater, you know, I wasn't faithful to my wife, and that got me in a bunch of trouble, and that really made things hard in the marriage, of course. And, you know, I was just in a state of denial, and I deserve.
So it was almost like the uniform and the badge kind of like was just this mask. It was like you portrayed like this hero.
Right.
But behind that was just
a dirtbag.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And on the job, it was great.
Exactly.
The guys loved me. They wanted to work with me. We had a good time. Like, it was like, that was stellar.
You hear this a lot with like military guys, like special ops guys or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're stellar at their job.
Right.
But at home, they didn't know how to do it.
Right. And I wasn't interested in, we sat down, we had great conversations, but I wasn't interested in the direction Rick wanted me to be in the personal stuff. You know what I mean? I hung out with the guys who were doing the same stuff that I was doing. Those guys were my role models because they were kick-ass on the job too.
Yeah.
You know, but there were a handful of guys, like really good dudes on the department that, like Rick, who would, you know, pull me inside and say, hey man, these things you're doing, this is not good. This is not a good direction.
Yeah.
You don't know, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. But was always there to listen.
Yeah.
You know, shaking his head probably and on the inside going, this kid.
He's going to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going through a gnarly divorce. My wife was living in Utah. We were living in Utah. I got a Harley. I was riding my Harley back and forth from Utah. You know, I'm wearing support shirts. I'm like, you know, just an idiot.
So literally sounds like me when I was in the military a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still wanted to be that bad boy. You know, I'm wearing long sleeves at work because I have to get sleeved out. And then when and then I get my knuckles tattooed, and they're just like, what, this kid is, you know. So
it's like, come on, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going through a gnarly divorce. I'm in California. My wife's in Utah with the boys. And my back starts killing me, man, like bad. So it's a struggle just to get out of bed some days. And they're sending me to the city doc, and he's giving me cortisone shots, sending me back to work. You know, I'm like, I have to work. I have child support to pay. I got this. And, I'm kind of going quick through this part, but I couldn't get out of bed for a call one morning, and things were like spinning out of control. Like I'm isolating from the guys at the station, you know, and that's hard to do. I brought my Xbox to work, and I was playing with the boys because my wife wouldn't let me communicate with them. It was hard on the phone with young kids, you know, so I didn't know you can play video games and talk to them, and she didn't know either. So we were like playing video games and stuff. So the guy's like, oh, Matty's just playing with his sons. And so I would just come into work and just play video games and in between calls, you know, and not engage with the guys. And I couldn't work out because my back was killing me. And so one day I just couldn't get up for a call, and it was that shift change. My partner just grabbed another guy and went, and I was laying in the dorm, and I was for like an hour, man. And I'm like, I usually can make it happen, man. I can't get up right now. It was so bad. I would piss myself. My back would spasm. And I like to explain it as like an existential crisis. You know, if I can't do this job, who am I? How do I provide a living? What am I going to do? I've been this for so long.
So would you say that moment is like what cracked the armor, or?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I grabbed my phone. I called the guys at the station. I called my girlfriend. She called the guys at the station and said, hey, Matty's in the back dorm. He can't get out of bed. So they plugged a line to me. They took me to UCI Medical Center. And they go through all the CT and all that stuff again. And I knew the doctor, and she's like, we're not seeing anything. And I said, please, you know, and this is, the city of Anaheim did the best they could with what they had at the time. I like to say that, but we know better now. And this is where the advocacy started for me, because I was going through all this stuff and I was thrown to the wolves, essentially. And prior to this, I went to the EAP, which is the Employees Assistance Program that the city had. And I got diagnosed with PTSD, and the clinician, who didn't know shit, said I needed some Xanax and a good lawyer. That was her treatment plan moving forward. So and there was a time where, before the surgery, for this incident, where my partner on the job knew something was wrong. And so he went and told my captain. And I remember sitting in front of my locker, and my buddy, who was the captain, said, dude, just put your uniform on and come sit at the table and just fake it for today. And I said, dude, I've been faking it for a long time, man. I can't even put on that uniform right now. And so he called the battalion chief. Rick was involved in this conversation. So the nurse practitioner that worked for us, the chief, Rick, and a couple other, my captain, all sat in a room and said, Matty, we know something's up. You're not doing well. We're going to give you some days off to figure it out, you know? And like I said, they did the best they could. So that's when I went to that EAP. And then I got after that diagnosis, they gave me to another group of people. And I had this lady, who I don't even know what her role was, say, you're going to go take a drug test. And I'm like, drugs aren't the issue. You know, this other doctor said I got PTS. I'm clinically depressed. I can't get out of bed most days. You know, I'm going through all this stuff. And this lady says, you're going to go take this drug test. She's like, I hold the keys to you ever working in this city again. And I'm like, you. So I go, because I was smoking weed. And I knew if I took a drug test, it was going to be Matt's a drug addict. And so I go downstairs. Guess who I call? Rick Cheatham.
What do I do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
So I call Rick. He's union president at the time as well. And I said, Rick, you guys told me to take time off to go figure it out. I called EAP. I got diagnosed with PTSD, and I come here for these groups that I'm supposed to do, PTSD groups, and talk to this doctor, and they threaten me with a drug test. I'm like, what do I do? He's like, okay, don't do it. Just, you know, go. Basically, he kind of coached me through that, and I went and got my own therapist off the back of my insurance card, you know, and she wrote me off work. I went and saw her. I was off for a month, and I got a month off without pay. which put me into even worse. So just to paint a picture of what mental health looked like.
Just spiral all around.
Yeah, I was just getting kicked in the nuts left and right.
Yeah.
And so I ended up just going, okay, I'm ready to go back to work. She wrote me a note. I snowed her. Like, I wasn't honest with her about what's going on. She wrote me a note and I went back to work. And that wasn't too long after that where I had the back injury thing. So I'm off work for 30 days. It took about 30 days to actually have the surgery. So I got thrown into the work comp system, which is, I don't know how it is out here, but in California, when it comes to mental health, for the injuries, the physical injuries, it's okay. But for the mental health stuff, it's horrible what they put guys through. I mean, it's part of the suicide epidemic because guys are getting denied. We can get into that too, but so I'm in the work comp system. Takes me about a month, and I've lost everything, by the way. By this time, I'm living in Laguna, sleeping on a mattress in a buddy's house. I'm renting a room from him in Laguna Beach.
Okay.
And my kids are in Utah, and I'm just stuck, injured, can't get out of bed most days, waiting to have the surgery, and I'm counting the knots in the ceiling, and I had a lot of time to think. And that's when the ideation really started. I could not get away from thoughts of just ending it.
You were just done.
So done. And I had the surgery, and I like to say I was after I had the surgery, which I wasn't prepared for. Like, it was a lot gnarlier than I thought because I wasn't physically prepared for that surgery. I wasn't mentally prepared. I definitely wasn't spiritually prepared. And I absolutely was not financially prepared to be laid up for, at least for 3-4 months to begin with. Like, just to walk to the bathroom was a whole deal. And so the ideation, it got really bad. And it was just like day after day of just thoughts of suicide. Fast forward a little bit, I'm about 5 months after the surgery, and you have a year to get well. It's like 48, 50 time they call it. So you get a certain amount of your pay for that period of time, as long as you're showing up to your doctor's appointments and doing what you can to. So I had a guy reach out to me from the college, and this is like one of the angels along the way. Rick was definitely one of them, but
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
would you say that, but right before that is rock bottom, or is that further down?
Rock bottom for the time. For the time.
Okay.
It gets better, bro.
Yeah, okay.
I had a lot of rock bottoms. Thank God. Yeah, but for the time, yeah, dude, it was bad. So I go, this guy reaches out to me from the college. He's kinesiology's guy. He's got a gym, he works guys out. And I just kind of remembered him, but he heard through the grapevine that I wasn't doing well. And he showed up at my house. His name's Dave. And he's like, look, dude, I'll train you to get you back to work. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, I don't even have a car. I can't even get to your gym. And he threw me the keys to he's got a second truck. And he's like, you can drive my truck, dude. Like, I didn't know this guy from Adam.
Here's a truck.
Yep. Here's a truck. Like, really showed me what service looked like.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't, consciously, I wasn't aware of it. I just thought, wow, man, this guy's awesome. He like really wants to help me. So I go to his gym. He works me out, for about 2 months. And I'm like, I don't know anything about the mental health stuff. Like, I just thought if I can get physically back in shape, right, and get my head right, because that's how I got my head right, was by working out. Then I can make it back to work and just continue on. And so I made it back to work about 2 or 3 shifts in. My back starts killing me again. You drop foot, and I'm like scared now. I'm like, I don't want to make things worse, or so I go back off. And that week that I went off, a couple of days after, I had a court date with my ex-wife for custody stuff for the boys. And I had to rent a car because I didn't have a car, and I don't want to be late. And the only car they had was this black Dodge Charger. I'll never forget it because of what CHP drives in California. And it had 600 miles on it. And I go to court that morning and lose custody of the boys. And all that divorce stuff that was stored in my body from my parents' divorce, boom, hits me all in that moment. And I believe the judge said, you are in no way, shape, or form in any condition to take care of these boys. And so my best thinking put me in that Dodge Charger, driving 106 miles per hour down the 5 freeway drunk with my sober girlfriend in the car. And I got pulled over by CHP because they don't like that. Yeah. And it was, and I mean, my thought was, bro, I'm I'm firefighter. Don't you know who I think I am? They're not going to give me a ticket.
I think I am.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not going to give me a ticket. And they pulled me out of the car. They booked me in the field, and they didn't take me to jail. They let me go into the custody of my girlfriend, who was sober. And I remember bits and pieces of this night, but I ended up in a parking lot making a lot of noise. And I assaulted my girlfriend. You know, I watched my mom get beat up, and I swore I'd never put my hands on a woman. I assaulted her. I trashed the car. I carried a lot of shame about this stuff for a long time, and I talk about it openly now. It's important for guys to hear, and especially for spouses, for a couple reasons. You know, one, you can't let that happen. And number two, there's life on the other side of it through a lot of recovery and healing.
A lot of people don't believe it. We've talked about this. A lot of people don't believe in redemption.
Yeah.
Which is sad because, like, one, you talking about it, which is this is stuff that a lot of men would hide.
Right.
They talk about a lot of stuff, but like even just the assault thing.
Right.
But it shows you taking ownership.
Yeah.
And that you have redeemed yourself, or you have worked towards that, right?
Right.
And so that right there says a lot.
Right.
You know, that you're willing to share that.
Yeah. And it wasn't the first time. It wasn't the first time. So people started noticing. I trashed the car too. It was brand new. So I knew the cops were going to show up. So I hid behind a dumpster, and I was going to do and say everything I know to do and say to get them to kill me. I want to go out death by cop. She got to them before they got to me, told them what was going on, what my plan was, and I got two sheriff's deputies shut off their body cam and spend half hour. And what I look back now and know is what peer-to-peer looks like. Right? I know, bro. I get it. Me too. I got an ex-wife. I don't remember everything they said, but I know it was a lot of, like, I get it, man. I get it. I understand, which I wasn't getting from anybody. I was the black sheep. I was the drug addict. I was the alcoholic. I was, we didn't know this PTS thing lived in the first responder community.
Yeah.
Or was prevalent. It just wasn't. It was for military and combat veterans. And so it was like, for the first time, I felt like, okay. So they talked me down. And there's a side note to this thing. We could talk about my experience at Save a Warrior, but I was a shepherd at a suicide prevention program called Save a Warrior for combat veterans. And I helped facilitate, and I would unpack cops that would have to kill people, and because they wanted to go out death by suicide, and how those people became ghosts for these guys. And I almost became a ghost for those two men. And I actually got to make amends. I actually met one of them years later and got to make a 9-step amends to them.
That's insane.
Right?
And props to them for being willing to talk to you.
Right.
And props to, your girlfriend for, given what you had done.
Right.
for telling them like, hey, this is what he's going through.
Right.
For still like speaking up for you, even though she didn't have to.
Oh, dude.
You know, she could have been like, hey, y'all need to take him out, you know?
Right? Dude, I got goosebumps because that girlfriend is my wife today.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
I've got goosebumps hearing that.
She's my wife today. She saw something in me I didn't see in myself. Makes me emotional.
Oh God.
Because dude, that woman I showed you in that picture, bro, she's been through hell and stayed by my side when she should be long gone, dude.
What a blessing.
She's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Stay tuned and check out part 2 of Matty's episode, dropping Sunday, November 23rd.